Good afternoon, good evening, everybody, wherever you're tuning in from. It's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth. It's Thursday, June 9th. Hope you're well today. Going to get started with today's stream momentarily. We'll give it another minute or so for people to join us, but essentially going to be discussing the stock Sundial Growers, ticker symbol SNDL on the Nasdaq. We're going to be going over the deadline that's coming up on August 8th. To regain compliance with the Nasdaq listing, and also whether or not we're going to see a reverse split, what happens if they were to be delisted, or whether or not we're going to get back over $1. So before we get to it, make sure to smash the like, help support me, and the channel doesn't cost you anything, and just sit tight. We'll get started in about 30 seconds or so. All right, I see we have some people joining us. We're going to get started in about 20 seconds. Going to get into the Sundial video momentarily and going to do some technical analysis, and we'll discuss the reverse split and a few other topics as well. So just sit tight. We'll get started in about 10 seconds. All right, welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, everybody. It's Rod with Power Group. Today is Thursday, June 9th. Hope you're well today. And in today's video, going to be discussing, like I already mentioned, Sundial Growers, which is ticker symbol SNDL in the Nasdaq. We're going to be talking about the possibility of a reverse split, delisting, and also them regaining compliance with that minimum bid requirement. And we do have the deadline approaching, which is on August 8th, and we're going to do some technical analysis as well. Before we get to it though, if you could smash the like, help support me, and the channel doesn't cost you anything. If you're new here, you can subscribe and tick the bell. You'll be notified on any future updates. Also, we'll do some time at the end as well for some Q&A. But diving into the content for today. So Sundial was granted, as you may know, a 180-day extension by the Nasdaq to regain compliance with the minimum bid rule. They're not the only one in the space who's struggling with the minimum bid requirement as well. We know that Hexo has also fallen below that threshold, and they could potentially be given another extension as well. But essentially, Sundial and Hexo are in the same boat, except for Sundial's already been granted the 180-day extension, which is coming up here very soon. So we'll just read through this here today. Announced that it has received a 180-day extension, and this is back on February 8, 2022, to regain compliance with Nasdaq's minimum bid price. So as previously reported, was notified by the Nasdaq on August 9, 2021 that the bid price for its common shares was not in compliance with the Nasdaq minimum bid price requirement. At that time, the company was required to regain compliance by February 7th. The extension will allow the company to regain compliance if the bid price of the company's common shares closes at or above $1 per share for a minimum of 10 consecutive trading days before August 8, 2022. At the moment, it's not looking good. We know that SPY was down today. A lot of people are wondering why Sundial and MJ was down today. Again, if you're just, if you just got tunnel vision and you're only looking at one MJ stock, then you need to start looking at the S&P 500. A rule of thumb is if the S&P 500 is down 1%, individual stocks should be down about 3 or 4%, especially something like MJ, which is extremely volatile, right? So if we take a look at SNDL today, it was down about 5%. So again, that S&P 500 down over 2%. Use that rule of thumb that when an index like the S&P 500 is down 1-2%, we should expect SNDL or MJ to be down anywhere from 5 to 6%, right? And also, we've been very correlated to the S&P 500, and we'll dive into some technical analysis here in a moment, but we've been more so correlated to the broader market on the way down. When the broader market's been going up recently, MJ hasn't really been participating in that move to the upside. It definitely correlates on the way down though, right? When the broader market goes down, we go down in MJ, but when the broader market goes up, MJ doesn't necessarily always go up, right? It's kind of frustrating, but that's just the market environment that we're in. Here's an article from Yahoo Finance as well. Sundial Growers to split stock during a turnaround year. We know that they just took advantage of the mergers and acquisitions with Alcana, which they're expecting huge increase in numbers here. You can see next to August 18th earnings, that's tentative. Want to see official confirmation from the company, but the EPS is forecasted at positive 0.0025. which would be an improvement from last quarter at negative 0.02. And they're forecasting 209.17 million compared to 17.6 million the prior quarter. Keep in mind that that's going to factor in all of the Alcana sales as well, right? So they have a liquor store chain now, and not just retail liquor stores, but also retail MJ stores as well. So taking a look at this this article here from Yahoo Finance in detail, Sundial Growers stock at 41 cents per share. Keep in mind this is from May 20th, 2022. Has fallen far below the Nasdaq's minimum continued listing requirement of $1 per share, and the company has exhausted both its grace periods to bring the share price back to compliance. Shareholders will most likely vote for the reverse stock split in a June meeting. 2022 is a turnaround year for SNDL stock. Wall Street expects profitability this year. Following an earlier, and it's not necessarily organic. It comes as a result of the amount of cash that they had in the acquisitions, right, with Alcana. We know that their MJ business has been slowing a little bit, but we'll see if they can recover from that. Personally, I don't own any SNDL at the moment, full disclosure. Following an earlier coverage of Sundial Growers stock in January, when I pondered the possibility of SNDL stock announcing a reverse stock split to avoid getting delisted from the Nasdaq, the company received a 180-day extension, as we mentioned. However, Sundial stock price must rise to $1 a share and hold that for 10 straight trading days, between now and August 8th. However, a market sell-off hasn't been too kind to SNDL stock, and shares have plunged this year to print a new 52-week low. Pretty much just status quo and par for the course, right? All MJ kind of in the same boat. 34 cents on Thursday, May 12th. The company's share price is far from the ideal trading range to guarantee its extended listing on the Nasdaq. Sundial may not receive another extension from the Nasdaq. I highly doubt that as well. 2 consecutive chances are usually the maximum allowed to get a company's share price back above $1. Something that is interesting as well is Sundial isn't listed on any other exchanges, right? The only exchange that they're listed on is the Nasdaq. So because of this, because they're not listed on the TSX or any other exchanges, this tells me that the reverse split is pretty much inevitable, right? Let me know in the comments if you agree with me, but I would say that it's a 99.99% chance that this is going to reverse split. And management at Sundial Growers revealed a plan to go ahead with a reverse stock split during the third quarter of 2022. Shareholders will vote on the proposal during the company's annual meeting expected on June 27th. So about a little over a week before the actual deadline, right? Which would be just in time, just in the nick of time. Let me know in the comments below. Will you vote for the reverse split, for or against? I can't imagine anybody voting against it, to be honest, because there's not really much of an option with it only being listed on the Nasdaq at the moment. It's in the company's best interest to remain publicly listed. Therefore, shareholders may unanimously vote on a reverse split agenda. They most likely prefer a listed and liquid SNDL stock to an illiquid discounted privately traded one, right? So that just goes back to what I mentioned. See if there's anything else. The company had 2.4 billion shares of common stock outstanding. 2.4 billion, wow. As of April 25th, given a trading range below 40 cents a share on Friday, Sundial Growers may do a 1-for-3 reverse stock split at the bare minimum to bring the share price above $1. So as I mentioned, Hexo, it's not just SNDL, right? It'd be a little concerning if it was just SNDL who was worrying about a stock split, but we know that Hexo's in the same boat. The whole sector's in the dumps, right? We're down 70, 80, 90% across the board, not just in Canada, but in the American companies as well, retailers, ETFs. So it's just, we'd be a little concerned if it was just SNDL, but it's essentially just par for the course at the moment. And reverse stock splits are pretty common in the MJ space, given how long it takes to see a profit and just the market landscape, right, and how early we are. However, that low conversion rate could leave too little room for SNDL stock to fall below. Yeah, exactly. I don't think 1-for-3 would be ideal. Thus, management may do something like a 1-for-13, and we know that Hexo already approved a 1-for-14. So again, not like SNDL is the only one going through this. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a 1-for-13 at all, to be honest with you. So let me know in the comments, are you going to vote for or against a reverse split? Reverse stock split to lift shares above $5 and out of the penny stock territory. A reverse consolidation won't affect Sundial's fundamentals because it's just a number of outstanding shares and the finer details associated with the share count. Exactly. It's just an accounting trick. It doesn't change the actual value of the company. Just either the shares get increased or decreased, right, depending if it's a reverse split or a regular split. and then the price either increases or decreases by that amount, right? So it's just an accounting trade. These include diluted earnings per share and cash flow per share numbers, which may appear higher than before given a smaller denominator. That said, the markets have a tendency of punishing stocks that undergo a reverse stock split. It's psychologically regarded as proof of an underperforming business. Personally, I think a stock split or any kind of stock split, whether it be reverse or regular, is just a way for, it's a manipulation tactic, right? This is just a way for market makers to manipulate it. They don't want it to fall below a certain, you got the minimum listing requirement. Oh, no problem. We'll just create a reverse stock split and no problem, right? There's not even any point of having a minimum bid requirement realistically if they can just reverse stock split. It's just in my opinion, a manipulation tactic. And then Tesla and Google, Alphabet, parent company, Shopify, Amazon, all looking at doing stock splits. And that's just another way for them to manipulate the market, right? It's better whenever they're doing a regular stock split as opposed to a reverse one. But it's just a way for them to pawn off right at the top of we know that the market's probably going to be entering a bear market in the broader market of the tech sector. And now they're doing these stock splits, a 20-for-1 on Amazon, right before we enter a bear market. It just seems like they want to be able to pawn it off on retail who can't buy Amazon for $2,000 a share. But now it's $100. Yeah, no problem. We'll buy those expensive shares. And again, as we know, reverse stock splits or regular stock splits don't actually change anything fundamentally. It's just an accounting trick. So interesting earnings coming up in the month of August. Like I said, north of 200 million after that Alcana acquisition. But taking a look at SNDL here, we'll do some quick analysis. We do have a weekly bear flag on watch, which is not good. This isn't what bulls want to see, and this tells me that we have the odds of a reverse split even more increasing, as anything below 55 cents here on SNDL is a potential for a weekly bear flag. And if we do break below support here at 34 cents, that's going to confirm the weekly bear flag. And the target for the weekly bear flag is down here at about 22 cents. And we also have previous support here at 23 cents. So I wouldn't be surprised if we were heading down to 23, 22 cents on SNDL. We know that SPY was down, starting daily consolidation again today, down about 2.5%. We're now starting weekly consolidation, looking for a higher low compared to the low there at 380. So if we do see more of a pullback here into the rest of the week on the S&P 500, that's going to give headwinds for SNDL, right? Not what SNDL. Not seeing a whole lot of SNDL bulls in the chat. Normally when I come on and do these live streams for other MJ companies, it's just there's no relent. There's no. It's kind of hard to answer all the questions, but I'm sure we'll get some bulls on here at some point soon. Or again, let me know. I know a lot of people are probably in the dumps, getting investor fatigue. They're looking at this and they're kind of wishing they never ever bought it. Maybe you're happy as a clam accumulating at these numbers. I'm not sure, but let me know in the comments below. Are you going to vote for this reverse split? What do you think? Do you think they're going to do all the way up to a 13 to 1 for 13? Do you think a 1 for 3, 1 for 6? One for what? Let me know what you think is going to happen, because personally, I don't own any SNDL. I just know that a lot of people are asking me, what I think of it. So I wanted to come on and do a live stream. And again, I wanted to come on and do the live stream and kind of pick everybody's brain, have a discussion. But yeah, not seeing much of a discussion here at the moment. And like I said, normally when I come on and do these live streams for MJ companies, it's I have a hard time answering all the questions because of how much engagement I've had. But like I said, this isn't looking good right now, and I'm not knocking. I'm not telling you. I'm not hoping that SNDL goes down. Right? This is just what the charts are saying. It's saying that we could potentially be heading to a weekly bull flag, and we're not even anywhere near weekly oversold, right? So we could easily see more downside from here. And then on the daily time frame, we're not even daily oversold. We are coming off daily oversold though. We were just daily oversold here about a couple of weeks ago in May, but we haven't been able to get over these EMAs ever since we lost it. We got above it here back in March, and then we saw a bear cross of those EMAs, and then it's just been absolute brick wall resistance. Topping out, unable. We got above EMA 12, but then topped out at EMA 26. And now EMA 12 is a clear line of resistance to be watching, and that's sitting at 38 cents. So we're going to be watching for a daily candle close over 38 cents to signify some momentum shifting. But it's not looking good. It looks like we could be heading to weekly oversold. It looks like we could be confirming this weekly bear flag with a target of about 22 cents. We know that we have previous resistance there on the support price action at 23 cents. So all the confluence is pointing to a drop to around that 23 to 22 cent area. and potential for weekly oversold. And again, not looking good. That SPY's consolidating on the weekly time frame. That's headwinds, right? We don't want to see that. But the good news is over the next week or two, SPY could potentially set a weekly higher low and then change the weekly trend. If SPY confirms a weekly uptrend, that's going to be great for SNDL, right? Onto the weekly chart here. So we're not looking good at all. Like, there's basically nothing good about this chart, right? We're below the 10-week moving average there at 44 cents. The MACD and the stochastic are bearish with the black below the red. We had bear crosses here back in April, and beginning of April, end of April. And it's just not what we want to see as bulls, right? I don't own any SNDL at the moment, but I don't want to see SNDL do bad. I want to see them. I don't want to see any. It's not good for our industry, right? If anybody delists or reverse splits or sees this, massive pullback from their February 2021 highs. If we take a look at the February 2021 highs, we got as high as $3.96. It's been a rough couple of years, right? We're down over 90%. But again, that's just par for the course. I'd be worried if it was just SNDL. But as we know, look at Tilray, right? From its high at $67 there, went from $4 to $67 in a matter of like 6 months. It's actually down more, down over 94% on Tilray, right? Even names like MSOS, right? The ETF that tracks all the major U.S. companies. Look where we're at from the last high at February 2021. Even an ETF is down over 75%, over 76%, right? So it's just par for the course. I'd be worried if it was just SNDL, but again, I think it's just par for the course. In terms of the weekly time frame, we did have a bear cross of these of the moving averages, the 50 weekly crossing downward through the 100, which is perceived as bearish. And sure enough, that bear cross occurred back in end of April, beginning of May. And from there, we dropped from about 45 cents all the way down to about 34 cents. So again, generally when that happens on the weekly time frame, that means that it's even more bearish, right? This is the daily time frame. We had a death cross. That was your signal, right, to get out. We had death crosses on the S&P 500, the QQQ, first time since March 2020, the C19 lows. We had it on crypto. We had it on tech sector, all of our tech names. So when the broader market is going down, that's headwinds, right? And then even SNDL had a death cross with the 50-day moving average crossing downwards through the 200-day moving average. That's called a death cross, and that occurred back in August. And if you just exited there on that signal alone, you could have gotten out around 70 cents and then reloaded, anywhere. You could have started a dollar cost average back in, right? So again, just knowing how to read charts, and if you don't know how to read charts, well, that's kind of the idea of this YouTube channel, is to kind of come on and do these live streams. If anybody does have any questions with regards to this, let me know. Happy to help as always. But we were potentially lining up for a potential golden cross here with the 50 crossing up through the 200. When it happens the other way and the blue comes down through the green, that's called a death cross. When it happens with the blue coming up through the bottom, up through the 200-day moving average, that's a golden cross. But we saw a bull cross of the 50 and the 100-day moving average. Didn't see much follow through, and then more downside. So we're still not that far away from a golden cross, but I would say at least a couple of weeks away before we even see that. But at this time, I don't think that SNDL is going to get back above $1, unfortunately. I wish I could tell you that it was going to, but just looking at the chart, weekly bear flag, not even nearly weekly oversold, the S&P 500 starting weekly consolidation. We usually go into a summer lull, right, which just means we have a drop off in activity. And we usually just see a lack of interest into the fall. We know that we have the elections coming up in November. I think it's November 18th, the midterms, and we could potentially see safe banking pass. And if that means that safe banking isn't going to be passed until some point in the next few months, it hasn't even really circulated through Congress yet. So it's going to take some time, right? And then it's got to get signed into law, and then it's kind of like a buy the rumor, sell the news. Could be that as well, where we run up into that. That's a possibility as well, but from what I'm seeing, it's looking like SNDL is more than likely going to do a reverse stock split with, not that long, only 2 months to go. Anything can happen. I mean, we are ripe for a short squeeze. If the S&P 500 does set its weekly high or low and confirms a weekly trend change over the next couple of weeks, it's entirely possible, right? And if we do see safe banking gain some traction and we see a run up into that, it's possible. I just don't think it's the most likely scenario. I would say that 40%, maybe 30% chance it gets back above $1. Keep in mind, it's not just getting above $1. It has to trade 10 consecutive days in a row back above $1, which is about 2 weeks, right? Because it's only 5 trading days in the run of a week. So odds are not in their favor. And yeah, if I was a betting man, I would say that it's more than likely going to do a higher reverse split. I would say the odds are more favorable toward a 13-1, a 1 for 13 reverse split. But again, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are, what your plan is, if you're going to vote for or against. Let's take a quick peek at the market actually. So in Canada, High Tide, Tilray, and CGC led the decline today. On the bull list, we had PWR, DB, and PCLO. On the US side, again, lots of red out there, FIT, TAUG, and NBEV. And on the bull list, we had CXXI, LOWL, and SHWZ. But like I said, not looking good. The only hope for bulls at the moment is that SPY can set its weekly high or low, confirm a weekly uptrend, get those instead of headwinds, get the tailwinds that are back, and then help lift us, and then see some sort of sector-wide catalyst that's going to lift us out of this rut that we're in, and see some potential for safe banking, that type of thing. All right. Absolutely no chatter. People are down and out, I think, for the most part. But yeah, very odd that normally when I come on do these live streams, I thought for sure that a stock like SNDL with so much retail and Wall Street bets and whatnot, we'd have a lot more concerned people or just engaged people for... Yo, Rod, you're the best. Thanks, Young B. I appreciate it. Hexo strong. Yeah, it's funny when you get to do an SNDL video and then it turns into Hexo. All right, going to end it there. Thanks so much for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth. And let me know in the comments below if you are viewing this in the future after the live stream. Do you think that a reverse split is inevitable? Do you think they're more likely to do a 1 for 3 or a 1 for 13? Personally, I think there's a 30% chance it regains compliance over $1 between now and August 8th, and probably a 70% chance that it reverse splits. Remember that they're not listed on any other exchange, so that to me tells me that maybe even 80 to 90% chance that they're going to reverse split. So if you could smash the like on your way out, helps support me in the channel. I would appreciate it. And as always, we'll see you on the next video. Have a great evening, and I may do another video later on today. If not, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks so much. See you on the next video.